My name is Shan Thever. I am the director of the Small Law Firm Center of the New York City Bar Association. I welcome you to this historical building which opened its doors in 1896. This New York City Bar Association began its journey 147 years ago. Today, this New York City Bar Association with global membership and international recognition is led by preeminent commercial litigator John Kiernan. It is now my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you John and request him to make his opening remarks for Small Law Firm Center Symposium 2017. John.
Thanks, Sean, and thanks for all that you do for our Small Law Firm Center. Welcome all. Happy November, which here at the City Bar is Small Law Firm Month, and welcome to our 14th annual Small Law Firm Symposium. Our goal for today, I think, is the same as yours and is pretty straightforward. We want today to be a truly useful day for you in developing mechanisms for building, strengthening, sustaining your practices. You members of the small law firm and solo community are an essential component of the overall City Bar. You're about 6,000 strong. You comprise about 25% of our total membership. And we, recognizing that, we launched the Small Law Firm Center in 2000 here in the City Bar to help solo and small law firms address some of the issues that are particular to them and help them succeed and flourish in both the business and the practice of law. We host programs and bring in experts to speak about marketing your practice, networking, and identifying and developing external referral sources. We try to provide information that is useful to you about experts and products in the marketplace that you can use in your practice to do efficient case management and office management. And we try to contribute substantively to your career and practice development through our 160 committees, the over 170 reports we generate each year, and the over 180 events we have here at the Bar Association, covering all kinds of programs in as wide a range of substantive areas as you can imagine, and hopefully ways that embrace all of the particular subject matters of your practice interest. So I encourage you to take advantage of those resources, and as a variety of other member benefits and discounts that are directed particularly to small law firm and solo practitioners, including insurance and CLE at discounted rates, our small law firm vendor program, free legal research available in the library or in your home and office, and our virtual law firm resources, which people are increasingly using. Members have access to free workspace and a conference room so that they can reserve through our customer service department. Free advice and information is available on our website and in our monthly small law firm e-newsletter to help you proceed and advance in your practice. And members can also meet one-on-one to discuss practice management with our small law firm director at no charge. We can help you expand your professional network by attending our events, by joining a legal referral services panel, and by using free member postings. We also want very much for you never to feel alone when you're a member of the City Bar. We have mentoring and idea exchange programs that help you meet with attorneys with similar practice areas to network, to get to know what they've got in mind, and to learn from each other. We all hope sincerely that you'll take advantage of all these things that the Bar Association offers and all that the Symposium offers. We're delighted to have you here this time for the 14th time, and hope the day is terrific for you. So let me just introduce to you the first speaker this morning, Richard Hugo Hamann. Richard started with a career in law, but then got involved in the business of legal software and legal practice management software for small law firms. He's been researching the needs of lawyers in small law firms for over 20 years and knows the critical steps that need to be attended to balance attending to clients' needs and running a small business. We hope that his thoughts will be of great use to you and are happy to welcome him up. Richard.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for that introduction. It's a real thrill for us to be here in this famous building and with the association, and congratulations to you. There are thousands of members of the Bar Association, and there are thousands who are not, and you are here. And hopefully at the end of the proceedings you're going to end up with a competitive advantage over them because you went to the trouble of coming to this session. So congratulations to you at the start. I've had a rather unusual life, and as a result, for my sins, I've been into more than 1,000 small law firms around the world and 5 continents, and I've probably spoken to lawyers, usually irate lawyers, in probably another 2,000. So I've had a lot of exposure to lawyers in small law firms, and I just want to share a few insights with you that I think I've gained over the years. I think the first is why do lawyers in small law firms become lawyers? And there's common threads around the world, and if I put it in perhaps into your context, you know, lawyers become lawyers because their kids take them to the Lincoln Memorial, or because they read the inscription on the memorial in Cadman Park, or perhaps they get taken to see Hamilton and they discover how this became a nation of laws, not of kings. And that sort of thing inspires small lawyers to become lawyers throughout the world, because there are those identical touchstones in most societies. So there's a certain, for most of the lawyers that I've met, there's a nobility of purpose, and that is why they are lawyers. But there are really 4 things, I think, that 4 insights that I can share with you about them, and perhaps about you, is virtually every lawyer in a small firm that I've met, their primary goal is to provide great outcomes for their clients. That is what lawyers want to do. They want to provide great outcomes for their clients. That's number 1. Number 2, which I don't think gets spoken about enough, number 2 is that they actually want to enjoy what they're doing. And it's a pretty good thing to want to enjoy what you're doing, because we do know if you enjoy what you're doing, you're going to do it better. So the more enjoyable it is, the better the outcomes you're going to get for your client. The third one, which is the one that everybody does and doesn't want to speak about, is, of course, you want to make as much money legitimately as you can out of your vocation. And that is a fair enough thing to want to do. Strangely, it is, for many small law firms, it's one of the most difficult things to grasp with, because it is so sensitive dealing with price-sensitive private clients. The fourth thing has to do with stress. It is just a strange thing that the various bar councils and law societies of the world publish figures on the stress of lawyers in small law firms, the problems with drugs, alcohol, all that sort of stuff. And the important insight I have is this, is that the stress is typically not caused by the legal matters. It's not caused by the case at court. The stress is caused by the disorganization in the office. It is that disorganization, the disorganization of not getting a deposit before you go to court, the disorganization of not being able to find the file, the disorganization of not being able to find a document. That is actually what is causing the stress, not the actual practice of law. And the good news is that one can do something about that. So just to recap, those 4 things, you want to get a great outcome for your client, you want to enjoy what you're doing, you want to get paid properly, and you don't want stress. So what can one do about that? You're going to listen to a lot of interesting speakers today speaking about various aspects of the practice of law. But I've really distilled it down into 4 what I might call foundation stones of a small law firm. And the 4 foundation stones are these. Under an umbrella of getting organized, number 1 is you need one database of information for everything in your firm. Because if you've got one database of information for everything in your firm, you immediately reduce the stress caused by having 2. I go into firms that have got 5 databases of information. How do you know which one is true? You don't know which one is true, so there's a tremendous amount of stress associated with finding out what is true. So, the phrase I use is there's got to be one version of the truth, and the only way to have one version of the truth is to make sure that you have one database. So that is your foundation stone number 1. Foundation stone number 2 is so much of the practice of law has to do with documents. And I'm a consumer of legal services these days, and what happens is I phone my lawyer, or one of them, and they say, hang on, let me see if I can find the file. And you say, what am I doing hanging on while you try and find the file? Surely you don't have to find the file. And yet that is what's happening the whole time. So number 2 is you need a good system for creating and saving documents that is in your one database. So that when you need to find a file or when you need to find a document, and anybody in your firm needs to do it, you know where to go and you can go there immediately. Your clients, and I'll speak as a client, when I phone and I get told, listen, I'll phone you back because I can't find the file, imagine how I feel. And yet this is the most common response I get. I can't find the file, I'll phone you back. And I'll say, well, that's not convenient. I'm getting on a plane in 3 minutes' time. So get your documents organized. I think number 3 is whether you time record or whether you fixed fee charge or whether you do what most lawyers in small law firms do, which is kind of a combination of those 2, you have to have a disciplined way of recording everything that you do. Because if you do not record everything that you do in a disciplined way, I will give you a written guarantee you will undercharge every client, because you inevitably can't remember everything that you've done for your clients. So you have to be disciplined about recording what you do. The 4th and final one is you've just got to have a disciplined system of asking to be paid. And you have to apply it every time. You can't make it up on the run. The best way to reduce financial stress is to make sure you get the money in trust first, or get a retainer before you get going. But that's not always easy in a lot of matters. And I think that if you've got a small private client base, the best insight I can give you is this. Bill your client frequently for small amounts. Because if you bill frequently for small amounts, you'll get paid. If you leave it for a large amount, and some of you might have had this experience, I certainly did, you leave it for a large amount, and then you look at the amount and you'll say, oh, he can never afford that, so you discount it by 15% before you send the bill. Then the client gets the bill and phones you and asks you if you're insane, and you discount it by another 15%, and you've finally given away a 30% discount because you left it for this big amount at the end. Whereas if you just sent regular bills for small amounts, you would have actually got paid what you are worth, and you would have made as much as possible. So I think those 4 foundation stones of one database, organize your documents, make sure you've got a disciplined way of recording what you do every day, and getting a bill out. If you get those 4 foundation stones in place, you can do all of the other stuff. But quite honestly, there's no point, in my opinion, in going to a networking event to find more clients if you haven't got the foundation stones of your business in place in the first place, because you haven't got a good place to keep the name of the person who you've just introduced yourself to at a networking event. So if you do those 4, the stress will go away. It's not entirely going to go away. I think you need to distinguish between stress and pressure. I think whether you're a surgeon or a lawyer or a trial lawyer, there's pressure. These are high-pressure jobs. Stress is a different thing. Stress is caused by financial distress and disorganization. You can get rid of that disorganization. And if you get rid of the disorganization, the stress goes away. You'll enjoy the practice of law more. You'll get better outcomes for your clients, and you will make more money. Works in reverse order. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.